Hey guys, Joanna coming in, gonna do some army composition videos. I've been having some comments lately asking me to make some army comps, some of the things that I would use. So, yeah, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna use my top 3 favorite factions. We do have Arverni, Boii, and Galatia. I'm gonna do a attacking force and a defending force here for siege battle, so hopefully you guys do enjoy. Now, this might not be a terribly long video. I'm gonna try and keep it maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so, roughly. But hopefully you guys do enjoy the video. Again, if you do, please make sure to hit the like button, drop some comments down below, let me know what you guys thought. As far as the army compositions, obviously share the content around, and of course, if you are new to the channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. So, I am going to be using the large funds, and they are on the ultra size units, but it doesn't really matter as far as the size of the units for how much they cost. And the defenders get 10,530. The attackers get 11,700. So, with Arverni, obviously with Arverni and Boii, you can kind of do the same thing because they have Oathsworn. So you can just kind of do a spam of Oathsworn if you want. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. That's 8. So we'll knock 1 down, and then we'll be able to get those 4 Gallic Hunters there. And then we can pick up a Celtic Warrior if we want. So there is your elite spam army for an Arverni force if you want to try and do that. Or you could, if you want, you could just take that guy back off and maybe grab 2 units of Levy Freeman. Or you could take them off if you'd like. You can just kind of buff up your Oathsworn to a certain point wherever you want. Oh, obviously I can't do it that high, but alright. So we'll be able to get a couple of guys, at least 3 units of Oathsworn there with at least a bronze chevron, which is going to up their stats just a little bit. Nothing crazy, 3 extra melee attack, some more melee defense, and their base morale will be up as well. But so if I were to use a regular army for attack, obviously I would immediately start off getting that giant ballista. Giant ballistas are absolutely fantastic. You can knock down walls with them, and you can just do a ton of damage inside the settlement. So honestly, all 3 of the attacking armies will obviously have the giant ballista at their disposal, just because I always take giant ballistas. I'm just always a big fan of doing that. Usually I will take an Oathsworn as a general, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units of chosen swordsmen. We obviously are going to want to pick up the 4 units of Gallic Hunters, and then we're going to grab up about 4 or 5 units of Celtic Warriors, and then the final 2 units, if you want, you can grab another. Now this is going by the 1, 2, 4 max 7 same unit rule that I play with. So, if you want, you can pick up another warrior there. You can get yourself a Naked Warriors, which they are very susceptible to damage, but to taking damage, but they can do a lot of damage along with that Frenzy ability. You just have to make sure that you use them at the right time. I call them a light shock infantry unit. They can do a ton of damage, but they can die very, very easily. So I'm going to sit at about 1040 left over. And, I mean, bringing Levy Freeman wouldn't be a bad idea. That's going to leave me 620 gold left over. Or I could grab, like I said, a Celtic Warrior, 2 more Celtic Warriors, so you have the 7 Celtic Warriors, 7 Chosen Swordsmen, and an Oathsworn. Or if I really wanted to, I could knock those both down and pick myself up another Oathsworn and still have enough money to grab either actually just be able to grab a Celtic Warrior, or we can knock that down and grab 2 more units of the Levy Freeman. Oathsworn are really, 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 really strong. Like I said in past videos, in my opinion, they are one of the top tier elite infantry units, especially if it's a general and you have the strategist capability, or strategist general, I should say, the general skill, because they have the second wind and battle rhythm. Second wind will take a unit that's completely exhausted and knock them all the way back up to fresh, and the battle rhythm adds a bit of extra melee attack to them, which would be your perfect time. So if you have your Oathsworn general, you hit that headhunt, then you blast that the battle rhythm. When the unit becomes exhausted after both of those effects wear off, bang, you just hit them with the second wind, and there they are, right back up to full strength, or full health, full stamina. There it is, full stamina. So I would say that's a pretty okay army to use as far as an attacking army, or like I said, you can do the full Oathsworn elite spam unit army. Just make sure that you get those Gallic Hunters and really try and make sure that you have a Celtic Giant Ballista, or not Celtic, a giant ballista in your army, because it really makes things a lot easier. Actually, another thing that you can do, which wouldn't be a bad idea, let's see, we'll take another one of those away. Grabbing a unit of heavy horse, or a unit of cavalry, maybe not so much on the light horse side, but the heavy horse, really solid cavalry unit for them, only 700. It's not terrible. It's not extremely expensive. They are really good. Obviously, if you can get a noble horse, do that, because they just do a ton of damage. They are very, very strong. But heavy horse, I mean, that's just to have a unit of cavalry on your side in case you need to quickly rush over, or if you maybe need to defend your ballista by sallying out cavalry or something like that. Just having a unit of cavalry isn't a bad idea to have in your army, especially when you're attacking. So that's going to be my Arverni attacking force. Let's take a look at the Arverni defending force now. Arverni defending force, obviously you get to save that 720 from getting the giant ballista, and if you are on the correct size of settlement, which apparently I am not for some reason, it showed up here as small size, so we're going to go into the large size. We're going to get into the defending army, so that's going to save me the 720 because I get a piece of wall artillery there. So I usually go with an Oathsworn General because they're just so absolutely destructive. It's not even really funny how much damage they do. Obviously, again, I go with the 4 units of Gallic Hunters because they are, in my opinion, aside of their armor, their lack of armor, they are one of the best bowmen in the game. 35 missile damage, 150 range. They shoot really good, and they also have that stalk capability, which right there allows them... Oh, that's not it. Is it snipe? Snipe. You can have this unit hidden and still shoot with them. The enemy won't know where they are unless they get something close enough to be able to see them. So, yeah, definitely a good trait for the Gallic Hunter. So I'm going to take those 4 Gallic Hunters there. We're going to get a couple units of the Chosen Swordsman. We're also going to grab a couple units of the Celtic Warriors. Then we're going to move down over here, and we're going to grab up 2 units of the Heavy Horse, because I always find it a little bit better to have cavalry on defense more than on offense, or on defense instead of attack, I should say, because you can find units, you can find archers. Sometimes people leave archers left out, and you can use just 1 unit of your cavalry and keep the other one for later on in the game to maybe just find some rear charges or stuff like that. So I usually take 1 to 2 units of cavalry on my defense. I still have 640 left over. I have 3 slots left available, so I'm going to pick up another unit of the Celtic Warriors and a Levy Freeman, because Levy Freeman, though they are not very good stat-wise, bonus versus large is 25, melee defense 55. They have javelins. They're not a terrible unit, especially on defense. You can get some really solid kills with Levy Freeman because of their javelins. You can get some really good flanking shots, rear shots, whatever. You can just kind of sneak that unit around, get a good javelin volley, even a rear charge. A rear charge on a pretty weakened unit, you can definitely break the unit or at least start routing the unit if you have a sizable force with the Levy Freeman unit. So that would pretty much be a very good defending force. Like I said, you do get the wall artillery, as long as you're on large size settlement, you do get the wall artillery, so you don't really need to worry about it. You could bring a Scorpion. I think pretty much all armies get a Scorpion for defense. There are some units, or some factions, I should say, like the desert ones, they do get an Onager that you can use on the ground as well. So, but that would be my attacking and defending army for Arverni. Now we're going to get into an attacking army for Boii. That apparently was an attacking army for Boii as far as the AI was concerned. Again, we can do the same thing with the Oathsworn spam. Though the Celtic Bowmen are not as good as the Gallic Hunters, in my opinion, because of that right there, big time stat, 125 range compared to the 150 range there for the Gallic Hunters. I think the damage is the same. Pretty sure the damage, yeah, it's still 35 damage. But yeah, that's just that 25 less shots, that 25% less range. Plus, they don't have quick reload like the Gallic Hunters do. You can see, just to see the stat difference, or the abilities, I should say, difference between the Gallic Hunters and the Celtic Bowmen. But Bowmen obviously are really good on attack. You'll be able to volley over the walls, so I always tend to try and really bring, if the faction allows it, bring Bowmen on attack. Now, here's the big thing with them, with the Boii. Their sword followers are absolutely disgusting, so I'm going to definitely max out on my 7 sword followers for sure. I'm also going to bring 6, right? That's 6, yes, 6 units of the Celtic Warriors. That's still saving me 1,700, so I want to make sure that I get that ballista. So I have 1 slot open and still have 1,010 funds left in the force. Now, that can allow me to either buff up some more of these units, like maybe get these sword followers to be a little bit higher. I could take away one of those Celtic Warriors and get another Oathsworn, which obviously would not be a bad choice to do. Oathsworn, again, I'm not going to keep harping on it, saying it over and over and over again. They are absolutely disgusting. Or with that 1360, I could pick up another heavy horse like I suggested before. And then if I wanted to, I could grab a Naked Warrior, an Axe Warrior, or another Celtic Warrior there. Still have 310 funds left over to play with. Buff up some more of these units, give some of these guys some chevrons. So there you go, as far as pretty much a good army for attack as far as I'm concerned with Boii. Obviously, if you want, you can take out one of the Celtic Warriors, maybe take out 2 of the Celtic Warriors, grab up these Levy Freemen. Again, not a bad unit to have. They have the Javelins, they have the very high bonus versus large, they have the pretty solid melee defense for guys that have, like, not a whole lot of armor. Their melee defense is really, really good. 55 melee defense. I mean, look at the Celtic Warriors. They're more expensive, more armor. Actually, they have the same amount of armor. Oh, wow, I just realized that. They have a higher melee defense. Actually, no, it's only 5 points less. That's right. It's a 5-point less melee defense for a unit that's 140 cheaper. So, it's not bad. It's not bad. So that would be an attacking army for Boii. Then we'll get into the defending army for Boii. Again, it's pretty much going to be the same. We're going to get that. But here's the big difference. Instead of having the archers on defense, I would take the slingers. Yes, they have less missile damage, but they have that 150 range. And that can be really, really successful, especially if units come up on the walls. You can just litter the crap out of them, pretty much, with your stones from the 150 range. So that's definitely a better idea for, at least for Boii, with the defending army having the slingers on board instead of the bowmen. I mean, obviously, if you want, you could do the 2 and 2. You could do 3 and 2, or 3 and 1, I mean. Whatever. It's just my opinion. Defending Boii slingers are better, but the bows obviously do show a sign that they can arc their shots. So if you're fighting in the streets, you can still shoot over buildings and everything and get some really solid kills. Again, so as the sword followers, again, we're going to get that max 7 of them. So there's 5, 6, 7 of them. We're going to pick up a couple units of Celtic Warriors. We're going to move down here. Actually, let's lessen some of those Celtic Warriors a little bit. We're going to pick up 1 heavy horse there. And then, see, on defense, the heavy cavalry is always better than light cavalry, but light horse being able to get outside, especially cavalry that has that frenzied charge, if you can catch out some slingers or some archers or something like that, even like a small general, like a general's bodyguard or something like that, you might not kill the entire unit of the general's bodyguard, but you will do a ton of damage to it. And in the chance of killing the general that early on in the battle could be massively helpful as far as the rest of the army's morale for the remaining bit of the battle. So light horse sometimes not a bad idea. On attack, I would not take light horse. Defense, yeah, you can take light horse, especially the light horse that has the frenzy charge. It's really, 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 really helpful. So there you go as far as my defending, or one of the defending armies right there. Obviously, you can do an elite Oathsworn spam for Arverni and Boii. It's not going to be as many units of Oathsworn because of how expensive they are and the fact that you have 1,000 plus gold less than you would on attack. So there is a Boii defending force. We're going to get into Galatia. Obviously, we're going to go down, pick up that Celtic Ballista real fast, right off the bat. And so here is the thing. I usually take the Noble Horse. I'm not a big fan of taking cavalry generals, at least on attack. I'm not a huge fan of it. But Galatia only has 2 options. You can either take the Galatia Nobleman, which is a very strong unit. They do have the expert charge defense. They do have courage, obviously. They have the cavalry counter tactics, and we have shield screen, which makes their melee defense almost 100. It's like 96 or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they're actually not terrible. They don't have, I'm pretty sure they don't have javelins, though. That's one of the downfalls for the Galatian general as far as the noble is concerned. But the noble horse, if you take the noble horse general, that kind of takes away the need to get a second unit or to get a unit of cavalry on attack. You can pick up a Cappadocian cavalry. They are really solid in my opinion. They're very, very good. Melee attack 49s. That means almost 50% of the time they're hitting. So that's pretty good. Big difference between Galatia, Boii, and Arverni is Galatia can bring those Syrian archers. You can only bring 3 because they're mercenaries, but they're Syrian archers. Everybody knows Syrian archers. I don't feel like I really need to go that far into it. Again, as far as their infantry is concerned, you can get a bunch of those Galatian legionnaires. We're actually going to grab all 7 of them. That's still leaving me 1,690. I can pick up a bunch of, actually, I can pick up 4 units of the Galatian swords. Now, again, like I said, with the Noble Horse General, I can get rid of that. That will free up some more room for a couple of more units of Galatian swords. And I can obviously grab a Livy Freeman to finish out the rest of that army. Obviously, guys, do not forget to take your equipment when you are on attack. If somebody changes the map, your equipment will disappear. So be sure that you're paying attention right there to the map. If the map changes and you hit start battle, you're not going to have equipment. You'll have the ballista, so you'll still be able to knock a hole in the wall, but you're not going to have any towers or ladders or rams or tortoises or anything. So make sure to always keep an eye on that, because there are some times, especially in, public lobbies, where somebody will try and play, like, say you made your army and you got up to go get a drink or something, and you came back, they might have changed the map and you didn't realize it. You're loading in to with no equipment. So always keep an eye on the map just to make sure that it's the exact same one. If it changes, obviously just go back in and fix up your equipment. So I would say right there, that's a pretty solid attacking force. Galatian Legionnaires are, again, one of the top tier, mid-tier infantry, I would say. Very, very strong, very, very solid. Until you get into like Tylus, and then the tribal warriors are just absolutely disgusting. So that would be a very solid attacking force on attack for Galatia. Getting into the defending Galatian force, Galatian noblemen, honestly, is a little bit better of a choice because they can hold. With that shield screen, knocking their melee defense up as high as it does, 75 armor is pretty solid. Charge bonus is 32. Bonus versus large is 15. They can hold for a while, and you also will have the strategist general ability. So if he starts getting tired, bang, you just hit that refresh, and you'll be good. Or second wind, I call it refresh. If you hit that second wind, you'll be fantastic. And obviously that will also save you to have the ability to use your battle rhythm on some of your other stronger units. Like if you had a Galatian Legionnaire unit that charged in, there you go. You can obviously make them stronger when they go and attack. Again, obviously I'm going to take the 3 units of the Syrian archers on defense, and I'm actually going to add a Celtic slinger to them as before. Like I said with Boii, the slingers are really good, and as far as the archer goes for Galatia, they can only get Syrians, you can only get 3. So you can just go with the 3, but a slinger isn't a bad thing. I mean, that's something that maybe you can add in later to your army. You don't need to take it right off the bat. So we're going to go in and get those 7 units of the Galatian Legionnaires, 6, 7 right there. 7 units of Galatian Legionnaires. We're going to pick up 2 units of the Galatian swords, which are actually really good. I am going to sneak in there and grab another unit, or 1 unit of the Cappadocian cavalry. They are mercenaries, so you can only take 2 of them. But the light horse, again, not a bad option. Really not a bad option. Again, like I said, they had that frenzy charge. Their armor is really low, but their melee stats are really solid. I feel like they're really, really, really solid. I mean, 42 melee attack for a 450 unit, or 450 cost unit, I should say. It's really not that bad. So actually, I'm going to change that out. We're going to pick up that Celtic light horse, and that's going to leave me with 1,010 left over. So we're going to pick up 2 more units of the Galatian swords and a Levy Freeman again. Javelins, bonus versus large, melee defense. They can hold for a little bit of amount of time. So if you have somewhere, if they're crushing down one of your roads and you have a Levy Freeman nearby, you can quickly rush them over there to try and get them there to at least hold the attack off for a couple of seconds, so you can get more infantry, or one of your allies can get infantry over there You might classify that, or some people might say that I'm saying that that is a throwaway unit. In my opinion, it's not really that much of a throwaway unit, especially if it's doing what needs to be done as far as holding a line for just a little bit to be able to get more forces over there. So, but that was what I would say. That's a pretty solid defending force there for Galatia as well. So there you go. My 3 picks for Arverni, Boii, and Galatia as far as attacking forces and defending forces. Again, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button on it. It definitely helps the video get out there. Get some comments down there. I want to see what you guys' opinions are as far as what I thought as far as building up these armies and everything. Again, these are using the 1-2-4 max 7 rules that I use on my streams, and most replays that I get use those rules as well. But all right, there you go, guys. There it is, the first possibly of many videos that I'm going to come out with as far as building up army compositions. I'm noticing here that I'm a little bit higher than the 10 to 15 minute replay or battle video as I thought. We're up to about 21 minutes now, so I'm going to cut it off here. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay safe, and as always, until the next one. Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to send a special thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. Thank you very much for your continued support. I really appreciate it.